Welcome to the High Stakes Fantasy Network podcast, brought to you by PlayNFC.com.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the High Stakes Fantasy Network podcast. Once again, Greg Ambrosius, Tom Kessenich, Geoff Stein, back with you today to talk about our two NFFC postseason contests. We're going to give you the lowdown on these contests and then give you our winning lineups. That's right. We're competing against each other in an internal company league. So we'll give you our lineups, tell you who you should be playing for round one. Now, while I know we're going to talk about the NFL playoffs today, how about a shout out to Notre Dame for that win last night? Jeff, that's your team. I know you're a Notre Dame fan, but that was a fantastic football game last night. And it came with the outcome you wanted, right?
It was very much the outcome I wanted. And, man, it got going. It was kind of a quiet first three quarters. But, man, oh, man, at the end, I was on the edge of my seat. As a Notre Dame fan, I expected them to lose, of course. But somehow they pulled it off. And now on to the championship. And, again, I've seen a couple championship games in my day, and they haven't been too pretty. So we'll watch the game tonight. I think it's going to probably be Ohio State. They already have the look-ahead line, 7.5. And, man, oh, man, I don't know. It's just good to be there, I guess. Like I said yesterday, we were at that live event when they lost to Northern Illinois, and I thought I didn't think there was any chance we'd be at this point. So you gotta take what you can, and it's been a great year.
Listen, that was a fun football game to watch. I don't care who you were rooting for. I had no rooting interest in it. I kind of wanted Notre Dame to win, but I don't know, Tom, if you watched it or not, but I'll tell you the difference between college and pro football. The refs don't get involved. They let them play last night, and you barely saw, and some of the calls that might have been controversial, honestly, that was pass interference in the end zone, even though it was badly.
Oh, I don't know. I know.
It was badly underthrown, and it shouldn't have been, but I'm just saying, that compared to NFL controversial calls were nothing. What do you think of the game, Tom, last night?
No, I agree with you. I think it's great that they let them play, and we don't have official controversies like we tend to have in the NFL, or at least refs impacting the game or outcomes of games. I thought it was great to see. So we'll see how it goes from here on out. But yeah, I like the fact that we let the players play and we let the players decide outcomes of game. That's a refreshing change from what we often see in the NFL.
Yeah, it was an enjoyable game, enjoyable fourth quarter, back and forth, 17-point runs, 14-point runs. I mean, it was fun. So, hey, 5 great days of football, right? Like we said, Ohio State, Texas tonight, then 3 days of the NFL. Man, you can't get 5 better days than this one. Got to ask you, Jeff, who do you want to see in the championship game against Notre Dame?
Oh, I mean, I think Ohio State's the better team, so I want Texas, but I think it's going to be Ohio State. But, yeah, give me the weaker team, which I think is Texas in this case. But I think Ohio State might be getting a little pumped up here, too. I mean, just remember a few weeks ago, I'm in Michigan, and everyone was going crazy that the Wolverines beat the Buckeyes. So we'll see what happens. But I think it's going to be the Buckeyes, and I don't think it's going to be pretty. But, again, I'll take what I can get at this point from those Irish.
All right, we'll watch the game tonight and find out. Championship game is Monday, January 20th. As we found out last night, since our last podcast, the Monday night game has been moved from Los Angeles to Phoenix because of those devastating wildfires in L.A. Prayers out to all of you living out in that area. That just looks like terrible, terrible. Tom, the line did change on that game, so I got to ask you, is there any change, you think, in the Vikings-Rams game because it got moved to Phoenix?
Well, I mean, the Vikings were favored, so I think you give them a better shot to win the game now on a neutral site. So they were the better team going in. They're the better team now on a neutral site without the Rams having any kind of a home field advantage in this game. So I think you're feeling better about the Vikings, coming off an embarrassing performance in Week 18, obviously, against the Lions. So, yeah, you're feeling better about the Vikings on a neutral site than maybe you were going into Los Angeles trying to play the Rams there. So if you're hoping for the Rams to spring the upset at home, you're probably feeling a little worse about the situation now.
All right, today we're going to talk about the NFFC $200 postseason contest and our NFFC $50 mini postseason contest. That's what you're tuning in for because you want to learn a little bit more. Both use the same rules. Both have great overall prizes. $200 contest pays a top prize of $150,000. $50 contest pays a top prize of $50,000. We're about 70% full of the $200 contest right now. Almost 95% full on the $50 contest. So get into both of them right away while the spots are still there. I think that $50 contest is going to sell out soon. $200 one should sell out before kickoff tomorrow. So, and as you can see from the banner below, I'm going to reward anyone who's taken the time to watch this podcast with a special promo code, $20 off, 10% off that $200 contest. We had a handful of you take advantage of it yesterday. It'll be available all night. It'll be off tomorrow morning. So save 10% tonight with that promo code. Post, all caps, hit apply, check out. You get it for $180 instead of $200. All right. Real quickly, let's talk about the format. All right. You pick one player from 12 of the 14 teams, which means you're fading 2 teams. Every player scores 1x their points this week. Then if they remain on your roster, they score 2 times, then 3 times, then 4 times. You can replace the eliminated players, but they start at 1x. So now you want to start the 2-bye teams because they're going to start out at 2x next week. If you don't start them this week, they're not 2x next week, okay? So don't be worried about losing a few points here this week. You're going to get them next week, and then they're going to score 3x and hopefully 4x for you. So, all right, starting positions are 2 quarterbacks, 3 running backs, 4 wide receivers with the tight ends, 1 flex, 1 team defense, and 1 team kicker. Whew. Okay. And somebody asked how many points were scored to win it last year. I looked it up in 2022. It was 1,380, I think. Last year was 1,470. So, again, don't worry about the 200 points you're going to get in week 1. You're talking about 1,400 points you're trying to get. So, Tom, you said this yesterday, but preach it again today. This is all about the multipliers, right?
Yep. Yeah, exactly. I mean, you want to start off well in week 1, obviously. You want to do well. You want to get out of the gate well. But the contest begins in week 2 because that's when the multipliers begin. So you want to start well, but don't get excited if you're winning the contest after week 1 because it's all about week 2. It's when the multipliers begin. And you don't want to be losing a lot of guys after week 1, like Greg said yesterday. You don't want to be, losing 10 guys after week 1. So you want to have the multipliers kicking in week 2, and you want to make sure your lineup loses as few guys as possible after week 1. So those are the 2 key things, the multipliers and making sure you don't lose a large number of players out of your lineup after week 1.
Absolutely. So everyone's going to lose 6 players. Hopefully you're fading 2 of them so that you've got 8 going 2x next week. All right.
For the record, real quick, I am going to be talking a bunch of smack on Tuesday morning when I'm winning our internal league, just so you guys know.
Good. I hope you lead the week 1 because I want to win the week 4, man. I want round 4. So smack all you want.
Wire to wire, baby. Wire to wire.
And in Las Vegas, I'm going to be showing you that money. You're going to be splashing it right in front of you. How's that? All right. All right. So you guys said you needed another day to finalize your lineup. So I got to ask you, has anything changed in the last day that made you adjust your lineups? And Tom, I'll let you go first.
Nope. I had my lineup yesterday. I didn't make any changes at all. So here we go. I'm going to go with Josh Allen at quarterback, one of my quarterbacks there. In case the Chiefs don't get there, I think Buffalo is the second best team. Honestly, I don't like anybody on the Chiefs, quite honestly. So I had to pick one guy. I'll list who it is a little bit later. So Josh Allen's one of my quarterbacks. I was hedging and hawing with my Eagles pick. I think the Eagles are going to be the team to come out of the NFC. Eagles or Lions. I'll get to my Lions pick shortly. So Jalen Hurts is my quarterback, my second quarterback. So I went Hurts over Saquon Barkley. That was who I'm hedging and hawing with, but I went Hurts. And then my Lions pick is Jahmyr Gibbs. Of course it is because he's RB1. So it's Jahmyr Gibbs. And then Bucky Irving at running back is my number 2 in case I'm not quite sold on the Buccaneers to win that game. But if they do win, I do like Bucky Irving. It's a great matchup for Sunday night against Washington. That's terrible against the run. So I like Bucky Irving. And then Derrick Henry at running back 3. Justin Jefferson, Terry McLaurin, great matchup against that terrible Buccaneers secondary. Puka Nacua, I don't like the Rams to win, but I'll take the points for one game on Monday night against a bad Viking secondary. Ladd McConkey, I think the Chargers win. I like McConkey a lot. And then my Chief is Travis Kelce. Again, I don't like anybody on the Chiefs, quite frankly. I don't like Mahomes. He's just been bad for fantasy. So even with the multipliers, I'm not crazy about Mahomes, so I'll take Kelsey to get my Chief in there. And like I said yesterday, the kickers and defenses are throwaway positions for me. So I'll go with the Packers team kicker. I think they score some points, maybe kick a few field goals. So I'll take McManus, team kicker, and then I'll take the Texans team defense. They do have a good defense, so I'll take them against Chargers. That's my team defense.
All right, Jeff, what do you got?
Okay, I'm going to go Josh Allen too. And this, the more I dug into this, it's more of who else do you even take from Buffalo? I mean, I think you can say Cook at the running back position, but he's a big play guy. They have other guys involved there. There's as good of a team as Buffalo is. There's just not a lot fantasy wise, and I mean, maybe that's who wins this thing, is who gets the Buffalo guy right. Is it a Shakir? Do we finally get that Kincaid breakout that people have been predicting for regular season for a while? So I'm going Josh Allen. My quarterback, this might be an interesting one. I'm going Jared Goff, mainly for the reason that Tom mentioned Gibbs. I think Montgomery might be back, and I think Gibbs might be a little bit inflated here if Montgomery is back. The other thing is, he's got so many targets. So by putting Goff in my lineup, I'm getting Laporta, I'm getting St. Brown, I'm getting Jamison Williams, I'm getting the dump-offs to Gibbs. So I just think that's the way to go for the Lions when you have the Montgomery looming over and with so many targets that they have. Okay, running back-wise, Tom talked about the Chiefs and how there's not a lot to like there. I'm going to go Pacheco. It's cold. He's been out all year long. It seems like he's healthy. I know he's got this rib thing, but you got the guy that hasn't played very much all season going to come in there and beat up on these teams that are hurt, and they've played 17 weeks of football. So I think there's going to be a lot of Pacheco in these playoffs. That might be my kind of swerve a little bit. But again, as Tom mentioned, Mahomes hasn't really put up the numbers. This is Kelsey's time of year. The receiver core, I don't trust Worthy. Marquise Brown is back, but I don't know how much we can trust him. So I'm going Pacheco there. Running back, Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry. That all, pretty much explains itself. Wide receiver, I'm going to go Justin Jefferson. And, again, we talked about potential upsets. I'm just going to hope he has a big, big game on Monday night. Then McConkey, I think McConkey is going to be the Chargers' choice I'd be surprised if he wasn't on 9 out of 10 teams when it comes to who people are taking from the Chargers. That seems like the real easy one there. Yeah. Houston, Nico Collins, wide receiver. Mike Evans at wide receiver. Here's the other one. Tom talked about Puka Nacua, and when we go back to talk about regular season, Kyren Williams. Everybody hates Kyren Williams. I remember this is the guy you got to fade in the season-long draft. With Blake Corum's arm hurts, broken arm and out, I think there's going to be a lot of Kyren Williams. If he can, I think the Rams are going to use Kyren Williams a lot. And I think our players are going to use Nacua a lot. So that's kind of my pivot there. On the Rams, if you get 2 games with a full workload of Williams, that might be worth quite a bit, and not of people looking there. Team kicker, I'm going the Commanders in warm weather. The indoor guys are all gone on my team, so I'm just going somewhere where it's not going to be like kicking a brick. And then defense, I'm going Steelers. They've done well against Lamar over time. I think they've held his rushing yardage under an insane amount. I don't think he's had much rushing yardage at all against them this year. So I think the Ravens win the game, but there can be some sacks, maybe some turnovers there. So I'm going Steelers in a low-scoring game. So, again, no Broncos, no Packers. We talked about it yesterday. Sorry, fellas, but, not even the kicker. I'm going to go with the warm weather guy over a Packers kicker.
I thought you said you were going to be smack-talking after you were ahead of us.
Oh, you wait.
With that lineup, are you kidding me? Come on.
Oh, here we go. All
right, I'll give you mine as well. I'm with you, Jeff. I'm going Josh Allen and Jared Goff. I decided to put Goff in there. Like Tom said, I was thinking of Hurts as well. I think Philly can go all the way, but I'm going to put Goff in there. I think in our group, not a lot of people are going to use Goff. Jeff will, I will, but I'm not sure everybody else will. We got too many Minnesota people, in other words. They're going to have Sam Darnold in there. Running backs, Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley, right? Easy. Josh Jacobs. Come on, I'm putting Josh Jacobs in there. I'm not fading the Packers. I'm not fading the Packers. If we go to the Super Bowl, I want Josh Jacobs in my lineup. So I lose Barkley. At least I got Jacobs going 2x next week. All right, wide receivers, Puka, easy. Justin Jefferson, easy. Travis Kelce, easy. Mike Evans, he's going against Lattimore. Come on, Tom. You know they're going to duke it out against each other. So I'm going with Evans there. Ladd McConkey as my flex. team kicker is going to be Washington. Team defense is going to be Houston. I hear you, Jeff, on the Pittsburgh defense one there. They have a history, obviously, of shutting down Lamar. But boy, they just haven't been the same team the last several weeks. Even defensively, they gave up a lot to the Chiefs and such like that. So we'll see. But that's my lineup. So we got some similarities, little differences. But again, this is not that easy. This is kind of tough in this first round. And again, you want either the quarterbacks or the star players to get to the Super Bowl. So, Tom, your biggest decision was the Philadelphia one, you think?
Yeah, without question. I mean, Saquon Barkley may have been the MVP in fantasy this year. So if the Eagles get to the Super Bowl, you wanted Barkley or Hurts at 4 times. So I did think about Goff. I'm not worried about Gibbs if Montgomery comes back, and it does look like Montgomery's going to be back for the divisional round. I mean, Gibbs was an RB1 with Montgomery, so I'm not worried about that. And he'll be an RB1 no matter what. Obviously, if Montgomery is limited at all, he'll still be an elite RB1, so I'm not worried about that. I did think about Goff and go with Barkley, so it's a tough call. But either way, if the Eagles get there, you want one of those two guys. They're both going to be great, so I'm fine with that. So you're going to want variance. Whoever gets with the Eagles, some guy's going to have Barkley, I'm going to have Hurts. So we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, that was my biggest decision, too. I was thinking Hurts and taking Goff out and then putting Gibbs in. But I think a lot of people have Gibbs, and you know what? Goff won so many titles for people in the NFFC. He had 50 points in week 15. He had 34.5 in week 17. He had 28 point something in week 16. He had 114 points, I think it was, in the championship round. I didn't have him anywhere, but I'm giving him love because of that anyways. Jeff, what tough decision did you have there, or didn't you have any?
I kind of go with Tom. The Eagles are a very, very difficult one. And I've even thrown, and we talked about a little bit yesterday, I'm even throwing A.J. Brown and maybe even Devontae Smith. Because if you look at this wide receiver position, when you look at Buffalo, Baltimore, Detroit, all the favorites, there's not really that wide receiver you feel comfortable locking in. We talked about Jefferson, McConkey, Nico Collins. Those are all guys that could lose this weekend, and then you're one and done. So Brown has a chance to play, 4 or 5 weeks, or however many games that is. And if he gets to the Super Bowl and you have him at that 4X, I don't think a lot of people are going to have a 4X in the wide receiver position.
Yeah.
So I think that has an incredible way to, zig while everyone else, or to zag while everyone else is zigging, zig while everyone else is zagging. I think Brown, he just, again, because people are going to go Hurts, people are going to go Barkley. I kind of like Brown as a sneaky play in this overall.
Yeah. I'm wondering, even for me, Evans or Collins. I really want to get Collins in that lineup, but man, the way that Baker targets Evans, I just got to throw him in there, but we'll see. Hey, let's talk about some of the lines because they have changed since yesterday. Let's just talk a couple of them. Talk some point spreads. Chargers are now down to 2.5 from 3. Not a big deal, but it means the money's going on the Texans. Tom, do you think that's a toss-up game as well, or what do you think? If you're a gambler guy, what are you looking at there?
I mean, the concern there is how bad C.J. Stroud has been. I mean, now their defense is good. The Texans' D is really good, so they could get after Herbert a little bit. I mean, that's why I'm playing them. I mean, I do think they can get some sacks. They got a good pass rush at home. The concern there is C.J. Stroud. We just don't know if he can play better than he's played. Herbert has been playing lights out. I mean, and getting Dobbins back has certainly helped their offense. They've got more balance now than they've had the last month or so with Dobbins there. So I do like the Chargers. I just don't know what we're going to see out of C.J. Stroud. The Charger defense has been very vulnerable. So if they get a better performance out of Stroud, they can win that game. But he's the big X factor in that game. I don't trust him. I trust Justin Herbert.
All right, the Vikings are now 2.5 point favorites. Yesterday they were 1.5 point favorite. Again, this got moved to Phoenix. I mean, there's a lot of people vacationing out, or not vacationing, retired out there, maybe from Minnesota. I don't know if that did anything, but Jeff, what are your thoughts on that line? Vikings now 2.5.
I mean, yeah, when you think of home field advantage, the Rams, I mean, when you watch those games against some of the better teams that travel well, whether, the Pittsburghs, the Buffaloes, the Phillies, it always seems to be louder for the away team. So I don't think they're losing much with the change. And so a point to lose the home field advantage. Yeah, I can see that. I'm guessing there's going to be more Vikings fans than Rams there, like you said. Just real quick on the 3-point change in the Texans. I think that's a pure number by just, that field goal is a key number in the gambling world. You see that 3 being hung in a playoff game. I think a lot of the sharper guys are just saying, hey, 3 in a playoff game, I'm just going to take my chance with it. So that's what I kind of see on that one. And again, we talked about some of these closer games. They're all kind of a toss-up. We didn't talk about the Houston Chargers one as much yesterday. I kind of think I'm coming around a little more to Houston than I was at this time yesterday. Shut down McConkey, make those other receivers beat you. And Tom says Houston has a good defense. Can that offense just get a little bit going to help out? But again, if that 3 was on the board there, I think I'm liking Houston a little more at this point, to be honest with you.
Start the weekend off with an upset, Jeff says. All right, we'll do one more. Eagles now 5.5, up from 4.5 yesterday. Love was full participant today, I guess they said in practice, and yesterday as well. So his elbow shouldn't be a concern. I don't know. Tom, you got your Packer hat on right now. Yeah, I mean, anything's possible, right? We didn't think they'd go into Dallas last week, but they're not playing the same way as they were at the end of last year. But I got to ask you, Hurts hasn't really played a football game in 3 weeks, right? And I don't care what you say. Your timing is not the same. I can't see him scrambling as much. He still will use his legs, but this was a concussion that lasted a while. I got to believe there's some rust here. Now, again, the Packers defense, they're 5th in the league. They've played much better, but I still don't trust them. I'm sure you don't trust them, but come on, Hurts has not played a meaningful game in almost a month.
No, I think that's a legitimate source of concern, which is why I think they're going to shove Saquon Barkley down the Packers' throats.
Yeah.
So I don't see any way the Packers stop Barkley. I mean, here's the thing. We saw them in week 1, right, in Brazil, and it was not good. It was not pretty for the Packer defense. It wasn't pretty for the Eagles defense. No. But the difference is that Eagles defense is significantly better than it was in week 1. It's a completely different defense. So I don't see any way the Packer defense stops Philadelphia, but I'm not sure the Packers offense can make a dent on that Philadelphia defense. So 5.5, take the Eagles and the points.
Oh my goodness. Jeff, you got any comments on this? Do you want to rub it into us Packer fans before our season's over?
Well, I'll just make one more mention on Hurts. What's the play he's known for? The tush push. What's he doing? Going head first towards the defense. So coming off that concussion, is that play going to be there? Again,
doesn't have to be. Doesn't have to be when you got Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, well, that's what. Yeah, I think that's a reason to like a little more Barkley. But if they're at the 1-yard line, are they going to say, "Hey, Jalen, put your head down and get that yard for us," or are they going to give it to Barkley?
Yeah, no, they're going to say go forward with the tush push, definitely. But no, I think it'll be an interesting game, but I don't think our offense is on all cylinders like it was going into Dallas last year. All right, so go to playnffc.com. You can see that right up there. Hit the sign up for the $200 postseason contest and the $50 mini contest. Get in the game. You're going to want to. These playoffs over the next 4 or 5 weeks are going to be a blast. You want to have some skin in the game. If you want multiple teams, go to the special packages. You can save money on 3-packs, 6-packs, 9-packs. Again, we're selling out. So jump on in and take advantage of this $20 promo code tonight only and save a little extra money. All right. And finally, let's just say congrats to our 2024 NFFC winners. We had some great champions. Everybody was paid last Thursday. A total of over $6 million in prizes have been paid out this season, bringing our total prize money for all of our sports since 2004 to $104 million. Tom, think about that. In 21 years, we've awarded more than $104 million in prize money. I mean, not too bad for 2 guys from Wisconsin, right?
Oh, it's pretty good. And we had a great year. Celebrate. Impressive. I mean, at the risk of singling out a couple of guys, I would like to do it because our first ever champions in the Classic way back in 2004, Mark Cerebro and Jason Emma, they won our Classic back in 2004, and they won the Prime Time this year. So those 2 guys, congratulations to them. which means they're just, they're old guys just like us, I guess, at the risk of shouting them out. But yeah, we had a great year in 2024. Shout out to all of our champions in all of our contests. You win a championship in fantasy football, you've done well. So congratulations to everybody.
Yeah, and Mark won a best ball overall championship as well. So he has 3 national titles in football. He's a Hall of Famer in baseball. So good stuff there. Just a great season. Like I said, at the end of the year, that week 17 Monday night game decided almost every one of our national championships. I've been doing these write-ups, and it's like Goff, Williams, Gibbs, they decided it. It was insane. Even Kittle was on a lot of championship teams. So it was great stuff. And, baseball is off the charts right now as far as the signups as well. You guys did an auction last night, their second one. So things are going well there. And one more thing, there's nothing official yet, but there's a chance. You say there's a chance that you could hear us again on Sirius XM Fantasy Sports Radio. We're not saying anything yet, but we could be returning for the baseball season. We're still talking, and Tom would lead the way there. So if it happens, Tom, are you ready to do that again on Wednesday nights?
I got nothing to say. I'm not saying anything.
We're not saying anything, but
I'm not saying anything.
12 years we had a weekly show. What's that come to? About 600 and some episodes, 2 hours a week. So
a lot of episodes, yeah.
Good little run that deserves to be back on the airwaves. So,
really quick, if I can hop in here, Adam in chat ask about our playoff contest. Are they single entry or multi-entry? They're multi-entry contest. We missed that comment about 5 minutes ago, so I just want to throw that in there.
Let me see if I can throw it up here once.
Yeah.
They're multi-entry. Yeah, absolutely. Again, legally, we follow all the state laws, and you can't have more than 5% of a contest, but definitely multiple. And a lot of people are taking multiple ones. I mean, let's not hide the fact there, right? People want different lineups, right? They're taking different quarterbacks or so ever. So I think in the $50 one, you're seeing a lot of people take multiple combinations. And Tom, we can say it right now. The last 3 years, at least 2 out of the last 3 in both of these contests, one entry by guys. So there are a lot of multiple entries, but there's people that have put $50 down and won $50,000. And I'm not kidding you, one entry. It's crazy, but for sure. Peter Christensen, Draft Cheat, is our defending $150,000 champion. He signed up today. I actually reached out to him to congratulate him. I said I should have had him on a podcast to get his expertise. And he said he will be back out for baseball in March. So we'll see him in Las Vegas for March. So good time had us all there. So, all right. Any final words, guys, other than get in, right?
Get in
and play. It's a great contest. Again, the only multiplier format, postseason format in the industry. So you're going to love this contest. If you're new to it, obviously the folks who've played it before, they love it. So again, it's a great format. And like we've been talking about, man, the playoffs are going to be wide open this year, which just makes it even more fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is our 20th year, actually, of this contest. So good stuff. And like we said before, the 6th seed quarterback has won it for people. Roethlisberger, Manning, Rodgers. So don't just go all chalk, but it should be good. All right. So jump on in. We got about 23 hours left for you to sign up. 23 hours from right now. We're kicking off, baby, this playoff. So jump on in, set your lineups, and win $150,000 or just win $50,000, whatever turns you on. All right. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. Good luck and enjoy.